In Nigeria, the global renewable energy industry is growing rapidly as more countries tap into this cheaper and more efficient source of energy. Now, energy analysts say Nigeria should take advantage of this huge industry, particularly now that there is a new power sector reform underway. Femi Oye, Chief Executive Officer at Greener Energy and Biofuels, joins me now in the studio to unpack this industry for us. Thank you so much, Femi, for taking the time out to join us. Now, it's quite an interesting part of the whole energy space, particularly here in Nigeria. We're looking at the renewable energy industry growing rapidly globally. But how much of that have we here as a country? How much of that have we harnessed?
Yeah, thank you, Hester, for bringing me on your show. I will start first by laying the foundation for renewable energy. I think one energy mix or one energy cap does not fit all. So that is why it's critical for us to begin to annex the opportunities and the possibility to add to what we already have from the national grid, other forms of energy. As at 2008, I know the federal government set out a massive, ambitious agenda to contribute about 13% of the energy mix in terms of contributions to what we currently
have from the national grid.
From the national grid. And that looks into the space of mini hydro. We have the solar, we have the wind, we have the biomass, we have the natural gas as well to contribute to this. But then largely, a lot of factors that we might have to talk about later have seriously contributed to why we've not been able to achieve this massive goal that we've set for ourselves. But then I think everything is opening up today. The industry is opening up, investment are coming in, and of course, we are getting more support from the government to actually see that it can be improved. So we're not there yet, but then better could be done.
Let's talk about specifics. You mentioned some of the types of renewable energy that we could have access to, or we could take advantage of: solar energy, small hydro, biomass. Which of these are we currently using, or are we using more or significantly to contribute into the national grid?
Yeah, in regions like Zamfara, in Sokoto, in Enugu, we also have some part of Nasarawa State. I think wind is working in some of these regions. In Enugu, we have coal that have also started to be explored, even though these have not really come to bear. And we have solar as well in major part, like in Ondo State. There are major project that is going on now. Lagos State government is doing a lot in terms of making sure we have more access or contribute more to the energy crisis that we have. And wind is serving, solar is serving, and we have biomass as well, because it's not just to generate the electricity that we have when we talk about energy crisis in West Africa.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because some might say that, look, we have the national output dropping, right now I think we're still doing less than 4,000 megawatts.
Correct.
And it doesn't appear that, yes, these clusters of alternative energy sources are being used. It doesn't appear that there's any impact at all on the national grid. Why is that?
That is correct. Why it hasn't seemed so obvious is actually as a result of the setback that we've had in Africa. We look at our reforms, a lot of other factors that have to set it back. It's not predictable. Another government come in, they go in another direction. And how much belief do we have in terms of the government will, in terms of the policy makers and those people that actually implement this, will rapidly help us to catalyze or to begin to see the result from other sectors. So we've not really seen much progress and much result because there have not been much stability within this space.
Okay, you've talked about policy, you mentioned government. Is there a particular body that we can point to and say this body, this organization, I don't know, government or otherwise, is responsible for this energy, this part of the energy chain as it were?
I know we have various government bodies that look into this, but then we have the Energy Commission of Nigeria that have been given the responsibility to chart the cost of this, and they have all the data. They have fantastic master plan to actually help us achieve that. But it's crazy, and it's unfortunate that we're still doing less than 4,000 megawatts.
So what do you think their major challenge is, that's preventing us from, because if you said that the plan is to have 13% contribution to our energy mix, we're doing less than 3%, that's very abysmal. So for you, what do you think is the main challenge for this energy body?
Yes, apart from the government will that we talked about, our policies has to be put in the right direction, and of course, infrastructure have to be built in order to support anything that we have to do. Of course, we have to set targets and realistic goals if ever we want to achieve this. And of course, we have the private sector, bringing them in to actually come and be the major driver to the change that we want to see. So from one side of the table to the other, we found out that all of these have not been properly annexed well to making it work. And that is why we keep on going back and forth.
Okay, let's talk about one sector of the economy that could benefit from this alternative source of energy, the small and medium enterprises. Like I mentioned earlier to you, I knew that the Bank of Industry, they have this cluster things to do with SMEs, and they have suggested, I don't know if it's running now, that we could have a situation where we have hydro plants, between 1 and 5 megawatts, supplying power or electricity to these SMEs in their clusters. Is this something that is feasible that we can immediately do for these SMEs?
Yeah, correct. Hydro, mini hydro now, turbine, wind, we talk of solar. These are other energy mix that is possible to likewise contribute back to the grid. However, we still have a long way to go when we are talking about contributing to the grid like we have in developed nations, like in Germany today. Last year, rather, they actually celebrated over 100% renewable energy that actually powered the entire economy for a whole year. But we are not there yet in Nigeria or in West Africa, simply because of some of those challenges that we have said. So Bank of Industry, working with United Nations, UNDP, they launched a program, Access to Renewable Energy. So it was the first time that they actually launched this massive program. They have brought together over 300 top energy companies in Nigeria that can work with the government, work with different other prestataires to ensure that we have enough of contribution to serve the energy need that we have. And some of those projects are already paying off today. We just have to give it a little time.
Okay, talking about contribution, this time monetary, I do know that there is a climate investment fund which gives funds to developing nations. Liberia just got about $50 million from that fund with the support of the African Finance Development Bank. Have we been tapping into this fund?
Yeah, correct. Just about a month ago, a program developed by African Development Bank with a climate investment fund, CTI fund, PA fund, and we have the ECOWAS region, renewable energy in the ECOWAS region as well. They have come together to organize another program to further help move the renewable energy sector forward. And I think about 10 top companies came up in Accra, Ghana 2 weeks ago, whereby a Nigeria company actually won the overall winner to that same competition. It was like a competition. And in Cape de Verde today, they are developing mini hydro. It's working already there. We have in Ghana mix of solar, and we also have other biomass to contribute to what they are generating. And in Nigeria as well, we have other organizations doing 1 megawatt, 2 megawatts.
Sorry to butt in, for a company like for your own company, what kind of, because I know things move faster when there's private sector involved. For you, what do you look to, and how much do I say the contribution in terms of what you put on the table for the sector?
Thank you. GE Biofuel, today we're looking into two sector, into the biofuel, actually the second generation bioethanol, whereby we convert waste material that we have in abundance around us. So currently we are developing a project that's actually our first project we're developing. It's about $29 million investment that we are bringing to create alternative to the fossil fuel that we have in cooking, as cooking fuel in homes, and of course it can be used in the future to power other home appliances. And we also have the solar project that we have, and today because of the capex, the high costs of going into renewable, which has been some of the inhibitors why private sectors have not really been able to participate in this sector. So the cost of acquiring some of these technologies like solar could be a little bit high. So with the investment that is coming through GE Biofuel and Go Solar Africa, so we've been able to deliver solar that is like house per house, not going to the grid now, because going to the grid you have to go through the licensing, you have to go through getting the distribution channel right for you to be able to distribute to customers. But now we want to install the solar in your home, 3, 5, 10 kVA that you need. So with that, at the end of the year, we could be doing more than 10 megawatts,
that
contributing
would
back
definitely
to
be
the
interesting
energy
to
grid.
see. Very, very interesting to see. But we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for giving us that very